Welcome to West Country Wanderings and welcome to the town of Upton-upon-Severn in Worcestershire. I've just got myself an ice cream, 27 degrees C here today. That is the River Severn. Why not join me on a tour here on this beautiful town by the banks of the Severn in Worcestershire. Yeah, I think I need this, really enjoy this. That behind me is part of the flood defence system here. Like neighbouring places, Worcester just up the line and Tewkesbury just down the line over in the border in Gloucestershire, this place floods a lot, so they really do need these. We're going to have a tour of the town here. I'm just going to enjoy ice cream. When I've done the video tour, I'm going to take some photographs of the beautiful town because it's looking absolutely stunning. That was delicious, that ice cream, by the way. It's a local ice cream. I think it's called the Hot Pocket, a place called Bishop's Froome, just between here and Worcester, just on the banks of the Severn. That bridge there was replaced a few years ago now. I'll drop in the date of that. It's a really elegant single span arch bridge, replacing a much earlier one which was obviously too narrow for the traffic that goes across it on the road which joins up to the M50 here. I can take you on the tour here. We've got some boats down here. Obviously this is the navigable section of the River Severn, and it joins up to Tewkesbury where it meets the River Avon. In that direction it joins up Worcester where it also meets the Staffs and Worcester Canal, and also the Worcester and Birmingham Canal. Now I was actually in two minds whether to do Upton-on-Severn today, because we will be back here again, because the Severn Way goes right through it, so we will be covering Upton-on-Severn again. But that probably won't be to the winter time either, the end of this year, early next year by the time, so I haven't walked all the way south from Welshpool to get here today, but we will cover it again. There is a festival going on. I'm not sure if it's just happened or it's about to happen. There's a jazz and blues festival. They've also got the RHS Britain in Bloom competition, so the town's looking at absolute delight here. It's quite busy, of course, because the children have now broken up from the schools, but I thought I'd show you around because it's looking absolutely at its best. If I came in the winter, I can tell you about the history then, but it probably wouldn't look as good as it does at the moment. Now you have these three inns that run along here, and the reason for that, of course, was that the Severn is almost like the M5 of its day. So you could think of these inns as like a service station for the bargemen taking their goods along the magnificent River Severn down to Gloucester and the Gloucester Sharpness Canal up to Worcester and onto the two canals there was Staffs, Worcester, Birmingham, take them into the heart of the West Midlands. But yeah, that's a delightful place, so you can have riverside eateries here. Fantastic. Now that isn't the church, but it was the church. Upton-on-Severn has a magnificent tall spired church. This is the Pepper Pot Church, or the remains of the tower of it, and because of the aforementioned flooding that you get here, still, well, not as bad as it used to be, but it can still flood, particularly in the winter time with the high water levels on the River Severn. They decided to move the church to the other side of the town centre. We also have a tourist information office here at the base of the Pepper Pot. Now Upton-on-Severn is one of my favourite towns in Worcestershire, although there are quite a few others that could also be on the same list. You have Pershore, Great Malvern, Tenbury Wells, which we haven't visited yet, we'll do that on a particular one, and Droitwich Spa. The tower is just diming. There it went, 2 o'clock. So if you're not familiar with this part of the west of England, the nearest towns is Tewkesbury, just over the border in Gloucestershire. It's about 6 miles to the south of here. We have Worcester, which is about 10 miles to the north. We also have the Malvern Hills just over there, which are about 8 or 9 miles to the west of here. And you also have Ledbury in Herefordshire, which is just a few miles, about 10 or 11 miles in that direction as well. do have a terrific lot of independent shops here in Upton. It's really good to see that. It's not the usual chain stores, but it's a really lively town, very friendly town too. Of course, the main thing, this problem is filming in towns, it is noise with the traffic. It's quite a busy road here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to settle myself up in a bit and go around with my other camera lens, take some photographs and set that aside to some music, so give you a flavour of the colours and the architecture of this beautiful town here by the River Severn. What I'm going to do now is going to just put those photographs up and set them aside to some music, showing you around the lovely town here, Upton-on-Severn in Worcestershire. Hope you enjoy them. Now you could be mistaken for thinking what I'm walking on now, this embankment, is a flood defence scheme for this rugby pitch, which is adjacent just to my right, your left at the moment. In fact it isn't. This is actually the former railway track at the railway line that ran from Tewkesbury, or rather Ashchurch, leaving the main Bristol to Birmingham line, going across to the Malverns. In fact, it joins the line that currently is still extant between Worcester and Ledbury at a place called Malvern Wells, where there's still a bit of a junction and a passing loop as well on because it goes single after that section here. But it's really handy having this embankment, because when it does get in floody type conditions, hopefully the rugby pitch should remain dry. Well, that's the theory anyway. As you can see, it flooded here back in 1947, would have completely taken out that road there, and that former railway track would have indeed been very useful. This beautiful church behind me here is the actual C of E church from when it moved from the Pepper Pot Tower down by the River Severn. Of course, that happened again because of flooding. This is on a slightly raised plinth here above the level of the road surface, but it has this beautiful honey-coloured stone that it's been built from, reminiscent of the northern parts of the Cotswolds. In fact, we're not actually far from the Cotswolds A and B here, only about 7 or 8 miles away. Well, I hope you enjoyed that tour here of Upton-upon-Severn in Worcestershire by the banks of the River Severn. As I say, we will be back here again when I work my way south from the town of Welshpool back into England, working through Shropshire, making my way down through Worcester. So it'll be some time before I am back here again, probably the end of this year or into early next year. Until next time, perhaps consider a subscribe, a share, a comment, or the usual sort of stuff. And if you haven't already done so, have a look at my Facebook group, West Country Wanderings. If you do that, just request to join, and then you can upload photos and videos of yourself of your favourite parts of the West Country. Until next time, take care. Hope to see you on the channel again very soon. All the best for now. Bye bye.